the bar stools and run the taps. Check on the liquor, wipe off the caps. Fill up the mixers, cut up a lime. Make sure my friends are gonna have a good time.
Next thing you know, you find you're running round in circles. And although you're sort of tired, you're not prepared to straighten out. Next thing...
I'm Ryan Thornhill, the director of Next Thing You Know.
And I'm Spencer Hartman, the music director.
We will explain for you the music director to director process that we went through to put on this show.
I came here to meet some women. I came here to sing a song. So where are you from? Okay, we'll let him in. Watch it, cutie. I could do this all night long. I'll take 2 whiskeys.
Because this show was part of my senior project for the university, I decided to pick a show that I could learn something both from directing as well as what I need to do when I leave this university. This show explains a lot of what the life is like outside of college and that time between your 20s and your 30s where you're struggling to find jobs or figuring out what you really want to do with your life, and everything else comes in and tears it down. So it was really a good choice of show to be able to teach me both of these things at the same time.
We've been planning this now since fall of 2012, and there have been a couple challenges that have come our way when we were working on putting it all together. First of all, when we were auditioning like potential cast members, schedules were overwhelming us and we couldn't even do anything.
Yeah, we took a couple semesters, even some show switches that we weren't sure that we wanted to do or if we were going to do or not. We had to wait a really long time to figure out conflicting schedules and making sure that everything lined up. So the process gave us the opportunity as well to be on the positive side of things, to really dig deep into this script and understand it fully so that we could be as prepared as possible when it came to the time that we could actually cast it and schedules were lining up and we could find a cast. So it made us really make sure that we were extremely prepared.
And the extra time certainly paid off.
Time to finally post the audition notice for the show, the list filled up quite quickly. We were faced with having to add even more slots to our list. Now, for our requirements for auditions, on the dramatic side of things, we were looking for a 1-minute monologue, dramatic or comedic, whichever they felt more comfortable with. And as the director, what I was looking for was the emotion and really, when it comes down to it, the commitment that they put into making sure that they knew it, as well as myself giving them a redirect in the middle of the audition, seeing if they take my direction or not, and if so, how well they do it or not.
On the musical side, I was really worried about how the potential voices could sound together. I didn't want there to be different textures sticking out in the blend, so I had to be really cautious about how they would sound as a group, because there's only 4 of them, so they have to be on point the whole time.
requirements for the music was 16 to 18 bars of a contemporary musical theater piece. We weren't really interested in seeing anything from a more classical piece because the music itself in the show is very contemporary and very modern. After auditions had happened, we had the challenge of sitting down and seeing who we wanted to call back to see more from. And when it came down to it, we chose 3 men and 3 women on the list. Now, all of them auditioned for, all 3 men auditioned for the 2 male parts, and the 3 women called back for the 2 women parts. So we had them all sing everything. And once again, we wanted to see blend, and...
Right, and so the females had to sing a duet so we could hear their sounds together, and then each character has, like, their primary song and a secondary song, and we wanted to hear the primary songs so we could know what the actual product would really sound like in the end.
So when it come down to it, all the girls had 3 songs to learn for callbacks, and all the boys had 2 songs to learn, since they all had to sing the songs from each part. Once auditions and callbacks were over with, we were faced with yet another challenge to sit down and take this list of 6 and turn it into 4. We sat down and looked at schedules. We required every person auditioning to give us their weekly schedule, work, school, everything else involved. Sat down with them, made sure that nothing was conflicting, and tried to line up a good cast that we knew could vocally and dramatically fill the role, as well as making sure that we could get them as much as possible. Now we faced another challenge as well with 2 of our people that we called back were also involved in another production going on that semester, as well as our music director who was involved. So that in itself was not really a deciding factor because we actually wound up casting the 2 that were in the opera. But once the process went along, we realized that there were some challenges with that, and making sure that we got everybody equally amount enough of work time and stuff for the show.
Yeah, it really made it difficult to prioritize and stay on track and stay focused because there weren't a whole lot of times that we were all together. We were very, not separate, but we weren't, it was very groups, like smaller groups of people working together instead of like the big group until closer to the end.
And I mean, it did work out because of the way the coupling happened in the show. The 2 that were in the opera were more coupled up, and the other 2 were. So it was easy. There was more we could work with the 2 that weren't in the opera outside of everyone else in the cast.
So I promised her I'd quit. Yeah, this time for real. She didn't make me, I just offered, hey, it's no big deal. So that's it, I'm done, no turning back. Every time a woman stays the night, she's happy, and I don't wonder why.